Welcome back, everyone. This week we are working on Lab 3. This is the Sheet 1 video. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. And under the content section in Lab 3, you'll see that we have three sheets to do this week. And as usual, you can pull up the Lab 3 assignment PDF document. And this is going to be a preview of what we have going on this week. So sheet 1 looks a little complicated. I think you'll see it's actually relatively simple. We're using a couple new tools. But other than that, we've pretty much done everything that we're going to need to use for this specific lab or for this sheet. Sheet 2, relatively simple. We know we've done a few things like this before already, so nothing new here. This is just some extra practice. And sheet 3 is going to be, so I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do a normal lecture video for the top view and the front view. Then you are gonna have to use that 45-degree construction line and actually create the right side view yourself. And I do provide I guess I'd call it a hint in the course folder. And if I pull that up here, you go into Lab 3 under, right in here, the Lab 3 Sheet 3 hint is a three-dimensional. I drew this in SolidWorks. So you're gonna be able to use this. So this is your top view, this is your front view. So you are gonna draw it looking at it from this direction. So, keep in mind your hidden lines, all that kind of stuff. So that's just a little bit of a preview of what we're doing this week. And at this point, we're going to jump into Lab 1, Sheet 1. So again, in your course folder, let's go ahead and copy our title block, master title block, copy it into the submissions folder for Lab 3. And actually, I don't think you guys shouldn't have the solution in your folder. I hope not. If I did put it in there, then that's my fault for giving it to you this semester. So once the title block is in Lab 3 submissions folder, go ahead and rename it. So this will be Lab 3 Sheet 1 and my initials. And before we do anything else, let's just go ahead and copy that twice and rename it. So this will be Lab 3 Sheet 2, my initials, and then we have, and Lab 3 Sheet 3. So open up Lab 3 Sheet 1. And it should just be your normal title block that we created in week 1. And we're going to go here first things first. Click on your block, right click, go into the block editor and change Lab X Sheet X to Lab 3 Sheet 1 and close the block editor. Once you have that done, let's click down here on the bottom left into model space and get drafting. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention this week is actually, let me pull this little preview of the assignment up here, is your precisions or your tolerances. So our basic title block has 1 decimal place precision. For most, so moving forward with the class, and I know you've seen this a little bit, you're really going to have to watch your precisions for the next couple of weeks in AutoCAD. So for this particular lab, for this particular sheet, it might make more sense to change your dim style to 3 decimal places, or I'm sorry, your dimension precision globally in your dimension style manager to 3 decimal places. And then just go ahead and change these 3 and this 1 manually to 1 decimal place. That's up to you. That's how I'm going to show you how to do it in the lecture video. But just make sure that you're keeping these in mind because you will lose points for that. Another thing you're going to have to do is watch your text sizes. So in the preview here, these are shown larger, but I have them highlighted and I have this nice comment box here. So you're going to have to resize this text so that it matches the same height of your dimensions. And if you recall, we set your dimensions and your arrows to a height of 0.125, eighth of an inch. So that's what we're going to have to do there. And lastly, watch your line types. Last week, we played around with the center line, hidden line a little bit. So we're going to bring those in again and change your line type scale like we did last week as well. But watching your line types is going to be important this week and moving forward as well. Other than that, I think the only really new tool this week is the polar array. So once we get there, I will explain it a little bit more. But basically, you have some sort of circular profile here, and you have, maybe we have another little circle here. The polar array allows you to create an array around a circular profile. So if we want to do, if we want 12 of these, we can say 12, and that just gives us nice evenly spaced distribution of this circle here. And on that note, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, I'm going to use my circle tool, the circle diameter tool. So we can come up here into our draw toolbar and click the drop down. We can grab our center diameter here. Alternatively, you can type C, enter, and it's going to ask us for a center point. So the sheet here says 4,4. I actually, I like to do this at 4.5, 4.5. That's just going to position things a little bit better on the page for us when we go from model space into paper space, and we're going to go ahead and plot this. So from here, I'm going to type D, enter for diameter, and our diameter here is going to be 5 inches. So 5, enter. So I'm going to grab my circle diameter tool again. Alternatively, you can type C, enter. Same deal, 4.5, 4.5, enter. And then since I use the hotkey command, I'm going to have to type D, enter. If you select up here, if you select center diameter, you don't have to type that D, enter. The reason you have to do it when you enter it using the C, enter to use the hotkey is because it defaults to a center radius. So it's asking you for a radius. So you type D, enter, and then it asks you for a diameter. And that's what we're doing here. Now this diameter is going to be 3.241, enter. And we're going to do one more. So I'm going to type C, enter. And then instead of typing 4.4, 4.4, I'm going to just hover over so you get your center point. Just click on your center point, D, enter for diameter, and that is going to be 2 inches. And we are well on our way here. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to focus on these concentric circles right here. And what those are, if we look in the side view, is counter bore. It's a counter bore for a bolt. And what that means is like a counter sunk would be something like this. You'd see for like a wood screw. Counter bore is for a bolt head. So a bolt is going to sit in here just like this. So there could be a bolt that goes nice through here, just like that. Something like that. So that's what counter bore means. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at these 6 concentric circles here, is 6 counter bores around this rotor. Now, when you first look at that in the drawing here, it looks, oh yeah, that's centered, right? It's actually not centered. So if you go ahead, every semester I get 1 or 2 students who does this, even maybe they just aren't watching the videos or something, they're just trying to figure it out themselves. They'll do something like that, and then they'll grab their circle tool, C, enter, or just up here, start a circle just like that, and D, and then a diameter of 0.5. So the problem with doing that is we actually have a specific dimension here, 1.3 inches from the center of these main circles here. So what happens if we create a line? So I'm going to type L, enter for my line tool, or grab it up here in the draw toolbar, is hover over here so I get my center point. Click there, drag it straight up, and type 1.3, enter. So if I select, it kind of looks like it's the center, but if we select our circle and we select our line, we can see here that there's a discrepancy. That line, that circle is just north of where that line is. So it's actually kind of funny too, because if you grab your dimension tool and you dimension from the center of the circle down to where that line starts, it does say 1.3. However, our precision on this is to the thousandths. So we are going to highlight this, right click, change the precision to 3 decimal places, and this will be incorrect and you will lose points for this on your drawing. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't done it yet, just draw this line and place the center of the circle at the end of this line. Alternatively, if you just highlight the circle, you can use the move tool, or you can just click on the center and it's going to allow you to move that around and just drop it to the end of that line. And now you have it where you need it to be. You grab your center diameter tool again, so you can type C, enter, and then remember use the D, enter, or you can just click center diameter, hover over the edge of that circle, the perimeter, grab that. And now we don't have to click D, enter here because I entered the command through the draw toolbar, just clicked center diameter. And this circle is going to have a diameter of 0.281. Just like that. And from here, we're going to go ahead and execute a polar array. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and highlight both of these circles. And under the array, the modify toolbar, underneath array, drop that down. And you have 3 options here. Rectangular array, which we used last week. We have a path array, which we do not use in this class, but you can kind of tell what it does there. If you have a path that's not circular or rectangular, it's kind of self-explanatory. You are able to sweep an array along a path. In our case today, we're going to use the polar array. Alternatively, you can just highlight what you want to array, then type array, enter, and it'll bring up this little menu. So you can click on polar, or you can just type PO, enter, and that will execute the polar array. And you can see down here in the console down here, it's asking you for a center point. So I'm just going to hover over, grab my center point here, and fortunately, AutoCAD generally defaults to 6 items in a polar array. So in this case, it works out for us. If it for some reason defaults to 4, you can go ahead and change it here in the items box, items dialog box. You can go more than that, you can go less than that, but we're going to use 6. Now, before you exit out of any of this, you want to uncheck rotate items. And I'll show you. So I'm going to keep it checked for now, but you want to uncheck this. So I'm going to close the array. What rotate items does, if I were to grab a horizontal construction line, so I can snap to the quadrants of this circle, the top and the bottom circle. But if we look here, and I'm trying to snap this to like the top of this circle here, so it's tangent at the top and bottom, it won't allow me to because the quadrant of this circle has been rotated 45 degrees. So that is what we want to avoid, because later on we're going to be making construction lines. And actually, that's more like 60 degrees. It actually is 60 degrees. If you look at your array, there's 60 degrees between these. So I misspoke. Anyway, so we're going to just highlight your array. To change it back, you just highlight your array, Click uncheck rotate items, close array. And now when we grab our construction line, now you can then snap to the quadrant on all 6. But we're going to wait on that for now. At this point, we are going to focus on all of these little holes. So these look kind of intimidating. I remember when I took this class, this was like, I couldn't remember because I took it in a live lecture and I couldn't remember the instruction that my professor had given on these. And I was staring at this for a while, like trying to figure it out. It looks a little intimidating because you're like, how are you going to position all these tiny holes everywhere? Fortunately, we have the array tool, which we just learned, and we have the exact dimensions for these 3 circles. And I'm just going to highlight those to point them out. We got 1, 2, and 3. So we can see this center one right here is directly 2 inches south of, I can highlight that, boom, 2 inches down from the center. And then these 2, there's one kind of above to the left and below to the left. These guys are, grab my tool again here. You can see it's 2 and then 1.8 and 2.2. So we know right off the bat that this is down 2 and then over 0.3. I'm sorry, down 0.2 and over 0.3. And likewise with this guy over here, it is up 0.2 and over 0.3. And we're getting those dimensions from right here and also from right here. And so let's go ahead and draw them. So when we're back in our model space, L enter for your line tool, grab your center point straight down, and we're going to type 2 enter. Just use that as construction geometry. From here, I'm going to grab my line tool again, center here, or I'm sorry, click on the endpoint, drag it straight to the left and type 0.3 enter. And then you're still in your line tool. So if you accidentally clicked escape, that's okay. Just grab your line tool again. If you didn't, then you just go ahead and make this next line. So just drag straight up and type 0.2 enter. So now you have your position for this little circle here, the top left, the center circle, and now we need this bottom right circle here. So what we can do is we can get that a couple different ways. So I'll just show you all of them right now. So one way is you just type 0.3, draw another line, straight down 0.2, and we have it. Another way is the mirror command that we used a number of times already. So I'm going to grab my 2 lines here, and I can click the mirror command right here in the modify toolbar. Alternatively, I can type MI enter. And remember, you want to make your mirror plane. So you're mirroring horizontally. So I want to make my mirror plane vertical. So there, just drag straight down, click once. It's asking if we want to erase the source objects. We do not. So you can click no or type N enter. And then in this case, we're going to have to mirror it again. And in this time, so we're mirroring vertically. So we want to make a horizontal mirror plane. Click, and we do want to erase the source object. So I'm going to type Y enter. So that's the second way to get that position. The third way is actually pretty cool. It's a different way to use the rotate command. So we can use the rotate command by highlighting those 2 lines and clicking on rotate or typing RO enter. And from the bottom of this vertical line as a base point, we're just going to click right there. And so the rotate command allows you to rotate an object. But what we can actually also do, another way to use it, is rotate it where you want it to be. So just in this case, drag it straight out to the left. And before you click, type C enter. And now you see that your original piece is still there, nice and solid. So what that allowed you to do is it's called a rotate copy. So I'm going to go ahead and click. So Personally, I would go with the rotate copy. I think that's the easiest way to do something like this. Boom, you highlight it, RO, enter, grab your base point, C, enter, and then go ahead and click where you want it, just like that. And from here, we have the position for all three of our little circles. So I'm going to grab the center diameter tool, click on this endpoint. Diameter is 0.2, enter. And I can keep making circles, or I can go ahead and highlight that circle, copy it, just like that, and I can copy it around just like that. Another way, you can use that rotate copy again if you want, and type RO, enter, grab your base point, drag it straight out to the left, C, enter, click, and there you have it. And let's go ahead and delete these construction lines. So from here, it's as simple as another array. So go ahead and highlight all three of those circles. Grab your polar array tool or type array, and then array, enter, and PO, enter. It's asking for the center point of our array. Go ahead and click. And again, we have 6 items, 6 instances in our array. We're going to change that. We can see on our sheet here, we are going to change that to 21. So we're going to go up here to items, type 21, enter, and close the array. In this case, it doesn't matter that the items are rotated, because we're not going to snap to each one of these individual items. But you can see if I have my horizontal line, my quadrants are all over the place. They're all rotated. And from here, that concludes our front view. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and we are going to use our ray tool. You can use the construction line. You can use the XL, enter, H, enter, and that'll give you your construction line, or come into draw, grab your construction line right here. And it does give you the option, like I can type H, enter if I want, but you can also just like come and click and make a 45, make it vertical, make it horizontal. So you can do that, but I tend to like using the ray tool for this because it makes it a little easier to see exactly what we're doing here. So you do not have to do this. I'm going to make my lines yellow just to make it a little easier for you to follow along with what I'm doing. And to do that, I'm going to click up here in the color palette. So remember, we are going to load our lines here like we did last week in this the line type palette. But in the color palette where it says by layer, I'm going to click that and make that yellow. And I'm going to just make this yellow, just like that. So I'm going to grab my ray tool. And from each quadrant, I am going to pull a ray out to the right. Each quadrant of something that I may see in that right view that I think I'm going to see. Just like that. Just like that. You can also, if you kind of are keeping track of what you're doing, you can also mirror these once you get to a certain point. Just like that. And now we have, see, if you had construction lines, they'd be extending way off in both directions, way out in the distance. So it kind of is hard to keep track of what it is you're looking at sometimes when you're using construction lines. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and turn my layer, my color back to by layer. We're going to talk about layers next time, but you can use white here, but by layer really is the more correct selection. Because next week we're going to set up a bunch of layers that have different colors, and you just want to draw everything by layer, because if you select if you're using the correct layer, then your lines are going to be the correct color. But we will get more into that next week. Now from here, we want to draw our right view. So doesn't look like there's a lot going on here, but we do have a lot of these horizontal lines, and we have to capture all of that information. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab my line tool. So I'm going to type L, enter. Now, when I try to snap somewhere over here, even if I turn grid snap on, So my pointer, my crosshairs are snapping to the grid. But if you see, if I try to start a line here, it's snapping way over here to the endpoint. So in this case, this is one of the cases where it's helpful to turn on nearest. So I'm going to go ahead and click on down here where this little pick box icon is. I'm going to click the caret and turn on nearest. From here, I'm going to type L, enter. And somewhere over here, I mean, this is like 1, 2, 3. This is like 3.5 inches. It's a good distance away. Go ahead and click on, click somewhere over here, far enough away that we're going to be able to fit, some text, all of this text and the dimensions and stuff through. If you need to, you can go ahead and adjust this later and come straight up 5 inches. So you can come straight, you can kind of drag and snap to 90 degrees and type 5, enter, or you can just drag up to where the perpendicular icon appears. It's like the little L, and snap it to this top line. And after that, I'm going to turn off my grid snaps at this little button right here. And I'm also going to click the snap drop down, and I'm going to turn off nearest. Gets in the way if you don't need it. And from here, I'm going to highlight this vertical line, and I will offset. So this bottom right icon in the modify toolbar, alternatively you can type O, enter. And our offset distance is going to be 0.05, enter. And now it's going to allow us to offset to either side of that line. I'm going to click. We're still in the command, so I can just keep on clicking. And we're going to draw 5 lines. So what we're doing here, what we're drawing here, if you look at how this is constructed, so this is 0.2 inches. And then if I use my comment tool, I can draw all the lines that we just created. So we've got our first line, our second line, our third line, fourth line, and our fifth line. So that's what we're doing. And then from here, we just got to trim off the lines that we don't need. Just like that, where we don't need them, I should say. Just like that. So let's go ahead and get that done here. So I'm going to grab my trim tool, TR, enter, enter. And go ahead and just kind of click through. You can follow along with me, or you can try this by yourself if you want. It looks like there's a lot going on, but if you just follow along with this drawing here, it should become pretty clear as you start trimming stuff away. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to trim what I don't need here. And then as I utilize these lines here, these construction lines, I can just go ahead and delete those and draw lines where I need them. So do that. Straight across. Trim that out. And we're going to do the same thing down below. So grab our trim tool. Just like that. Trim these guys out. Delete our construction lines. You don't need those anymore. And go ahead and make the lines that we do need. Cool. Now, at this point, so there's a couple different ways to go about this. So we can look at our bolts, right? So these are, there we go. So we're looking at our bolts. I'm going to go ahead and make these a different color. Because if we look, so these two yellow lines are going to be hidden lines for this cutout that goes all the way through the part. So let's not focus on those right this second. At this point, let's go ahead. So if we look at our assignment here, we can see we have this countersunk, this counterbore to 0.1 inch. And then we have our pilot hole that goes all the way through. And this pilot hole would be where the bolt, the shaft of the bolt comes out the other side. So that is what we're going to be making right now. So looking at this, it kind of looks like there's a lot going on. I'm just going to grab my line tool, start at where the top of this bolt, the counter bore is. Click, come to halfway through, come into where the pilot hole is going to be, all the way to the other side, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the way back up. And from there, we can go ahead and delete these blue lines. And at this point, we can now delete both of these, because we've used these right here were really just our construction lines to get the thickness right here. So we're just going to go ahead and delete those two. And at this point, you can really see it coming together here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Just delete that other center line as well. And at this point, just draw a line connecting where the pilot hole meets the counter bore, just like that. Don't draw it overlapping like this because it looks a little funky later when we make these dashed. So just connect it just like that. And from here, highlight that highlight that counter bore and pilot hole. CO enter to copy. Alternatively, you can grab a copy from the modify toolbar. It's this center middle button. And from here, I'm going to select the upper left point of this counter bore hole. And just take that and we can just copy it around. We can just copy it to the top left where that blue or that cyan line intersects with our main body of our rotor. Go ahead and delete all the other cyan lines. We don't need those anymore. And all we have left are the two yellow ones. So these guys, I'm going to use the power trim tool. I'm sorry, I'm going to use these as a cutting tool and use our more advanced trim tools. So I'm going to highlight both of these, type TR, enter. And then now I can trim these off and it'll trim everything on either side. And remember, if I'm just using the power trim tool, if I don't use something as a cutting tool, it doesn't know where I want to stop the cut. So it's just going to kind of cut up to like the next intersection. In that case, that can get a little tedious, especially if you have a lot of stuff and you're in these tiny little holes and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is highlight both of those lines, TR, enter, and then just come in, you click down here. So you click once, and then it'll give you this like line where you're just cutting everything inside that line. Or alternatively, you can just type TR or TR, enter, and then just click. You don't have to do that like click drag thing. And from here, these lines I actually want to make, so yours are going to be white, but I'm going to make mine back to bilayer, just like that. Now, just like I talked about at the beginning of class, you have to watch your line types here. And we have to load those in again. So next week, I'm going to have you edit your title block, your master title block to include layers. That's why I didn't do it this week, because I figure I don't want to have you edit your title block again and then have to do it next week. So next week, you will be editing your title block and bringing in these lines so that when you copy your title block, you'll already have these in there. If you want after you're finished with this lab, you can go ahead and load these line types in your sheet 2 and sheet 3 title block before we get started. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and wait until we get into those labs, either way. So to load those line types, just like we did last week, click on this third drop-down box in the Properties toolbar and click Other, Load, and you're going to scroll down and find Center to, click OK, and you're going to load again, and you're going to find Hidden to, not Hidden times 2, but Hidden to. That's at 0.5 line type scale. That's what that is. Click OK. Now, these two horizontal lines are going to be center lines. So just click on your drop-down list for your line types here and click center. It's okay that they don't look any different yet. They will. Next, highlight all 4 of these bolt holes. This is a good example of where it's good to use the the right drag, the blue rectangle selection tool, instead of the left triangle or left rectangle selection tool. So if I use the left one, everything it touches, like it's going to also highlight these vertical lines. Alternatively, if I use the right drag, it does not highlight anything except for what I am completely encompassing with my rectangle. So that's probably the best example that we've had so far for that. Once all 4 of those counterborn pilot holes are selected, we're going to go ahead to click on our line type selection up here. And those are going to be hidden too. So you do see that those hidden lines kind of show up. But to make those show up even better, we're going to type LT scale. And our global line type scale that we're going to use is 0.25. You know what? That looks a little bit small. So our global line type scale that we're going to use, is 0.5. So 0.5, enter, and there we go. So those lines look a lot better. Now, even at 0.5 line type scale, our center lines are not showing up the way we'd like. So let's just play around with this. So instead of typing LT scale, because that's going to change your global line type, we can just highlight these 2 lines, and let's go ahead and try 0.2. Click escape, and we can now see 0.2 looks pretty good. If you did something else, like if you tried 0.25 or 0.5, 0.3, I mean, you could play around with a little bit. 0.3 actually looks maybe even a little bit better. So maybe we'll go with that, 0.3. There you go. And the reason we did that is because otherwise it looked continuous. And we want to denote that this is a center line. So universally speaking, in CAD standards and drafting standards, a center line is going to be a dash, a long dash, a short dash, long dash, short dash. Just like normal dash lines like this are almost always solely used for, in product design at least, are solely used for hidden lines. And there we have it. So at this point, all we need to do is throw some dimensions on, and throw some dimensions, a couple liters, and then we're good to go. So before we start that, let's just take a look at where we are in Paperspace. And our positioning looks really good. I think we're going to be able to fit all of our dimensions on here. Not a problem at all. So let's go back into model, and we will go ahead and make those dimensions. Go ahead and move this out so I have some reference, and then you can follow along with me as I place them. So you can click your dimension tool up here. Alternatively, you can type DIM enter, and I'm going to start with that 1.3 inch dimension. So grab the center of your circle, grab the center of this top concentric circle here, the source of our array. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make this 3.5 inches off the circle, or off the center point here. That I just know because I figured this out earlier. That gives us a nice spacing between the edge of our page there. So I'm going to go. I'll recommend you do 3.5 as well. You could just eyeball it too. Is fine. Grab our dimension tool again, and the next one I want you to do is I'm sorry, this guy right here. So this bottom right circle, and drag straight over, and just select. It'll be endpoint. It might be. It might give you like another little like nearest, or not nearest. It might give you a another icon, like a circular icon. Just go ahead and click there. Snap it so that it's perfectly vertically oriented with the 1.3. Grab your dimension tool again to the center circle, just like that. Another one right to there, just like that. Now, I like to make my dimensions kind of snapped horizontal to each other. I like to line them up. So what I did there was I just made a construction line. And you don't have to do this. It's not required, but it's just something I'd like to show because it just makes drawings look a little bit more professional, I feel. If you zoom in really close, you might not be able to snap on it. But if you zoom out, you'll have the option to snap to a node, just like that. So I'm going to click on the node, highlight all my dimensions, and just click and drag, and click and drag. There we go. Next, let's do these 0.3 dimensions, just like this. From here to here, straight down. And if you drag, if you stay to the right of the right leader line, you're going to drag straight down. If you come to the left of the right leader line, very far, I mean, I guess there we go. So I guess it's the left leader line in this case. It's going to snap diagonal. So let's just kind of come down here. This is probably good right there. Now I want you to drag this to the other side. So just highlight your dimension, click on this little pick point, drag it. So I'm not holding down my mouse. I just clicked it once, drag it out this direction and click once. There you go. So you can do another dimension on the other side, same way you did this one, or type MI enter, mirror it, just like this. No, we are not erasing our source object. And if you do it this way, if you do it the mirror way, you're going to have to adjust this pick point to the center of this circle. Now we've got a bunch of diameters that we need to place. So up here in my annotation toolbar, under this drop down, if diameter is not your default icon up here, you can just click on diameter. And now it's asking to select an arc or a circle. So I want to go ahead and select this guy right there and click escape. Then I highlight this dimension. And just like we did last week for the radius, we're going to grab that dimension, chain in our properties toolbar. Remember, if this is not up, you can type properties enter and it will bring it up. Change your architectural tick to scroll all the way up to close filled. And our center mark should be none. And that is going to make it look a lot nicer than the architectural tick. We see, the architectural tick does not look very good when we're doing radiuses or diameters. Now from here, grab my diameter tool again, and I'm just going to start pulling diameters. And you'll see, I know we have to change them. It might not let you snap there. If not, that's okay. I'm going to snap just like that. Pull this dimension. Yeah, it's not letting me snap. That's okay though. There's the 2 and we've got the 5. Just like that. Now, what we can do here, because we have to change all of these dimension styles, is use a command called match attributes. So this, so I'm just going to select this 0.2 diameter that we already have taken the center marks away and change this to a closed filled arrow. So just highlight that, type MA enter, match attributes enter. And then I'm going to do a left selection. So I'm just going to click once, drag up to the left, click again. And now we can see that all of these dimensions are in the correct style. And from here, we just have 3 more dimensions, and then we have to put 2 leaders on, and this will be good to go. So from here, grab my dimension tool, dimension this 0.1. I'm going to pull that up 1/2 inch. We go ahead and dimension right here. This is going to be 0.1. Snap it right there. And then it looks like these are getting a little bit close. So I'm going to adjust these. So I'm going to highlight this dimension, use my pick point, and just kind of move it up out of the way. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Try to kind of keep them somewhat in a line. That's just stylistically, I think that looks a little nicer. And we're not crowding this 0.1. Last dimension. Snap from right here to right here, just like that. And in this case, I'm going to take that dimension and I'm going to pull it out to the left. Just like that. And from here, we're going to have to change our dimension style so that our precisions are 3 decimal places. So a couple ways to do that. You can type dim_sty enter, and that'll bring up your style dimension style manager. Or in the annotation toolbar here, you can click on this little box, dimension style, bring up the same dimension style manager, make sure standard is selected, click on modify, and under primary units tab, make the precision 3 decimal places. Close. So there's that. And then there are 4 dimensions. There's this one and these 3. 4 dimensions, just highlight those 4. You can change your precision in the properties toolbar right here. Alternatively, you can just right click precision, make that 1 decimal place, just like that. Last but not least, we need 2 leaders. We're going to grab our leader tool, and from the center of this circle, drag a leader out, and in all caps, type center at 4,4. Right before the A, you can click return, so just click enter, and that's going to make it look a little bit more like our what our preview or our assignment looks like. Go ahead and highlight this and the whole thing with the leader, and we're going to change the arrowhead size to 0.125 to match our dimension style. We're going to change our text height 0.125 as well. Now the left attachment right here, this is going to be middle of text, and the right attachment is going to be middle of text. And that's going to make it so that it attaches right here to the middle. Last but not least on this, go ahead and copy this dimension, CO enter, or you can use the copy command. Bring it down to this area here, highlight it, MI enter for mirror. Just mirror it from anywhere arbitrarily, just kind of mirror it horizontally. So you're going to drag a vertical line, click, and I will erase the source object. So yes. Then you can go ahead and position this where you want it. I'm just going to set mine kind of like somewhere right in here. Highlight your leader, and then you can go ahead and point to a circle, just like that. And then this edit text, I'm going to double click that, and it's going to be 21 rows. From here, we are good to go. We can go ahead and plot this. So right click on, go ahead and click on sheet 1. Make sure that your paper space looks, looks good, that you are able to, it fits on the page. It's not overlapping your viewport. Right click on sheet 1. Plot, hack title block in page setup. Everything should be set up the way we want it. Go ahead and click OK. And save your drawing in your CAD 154 folder, Lab 3, Submissions, Lab 1, Sheet 1, and your initials. And that is what you're going to go ahead and submit to the Dropbox. I will see you all in Lab 3, Sheet 2.